What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning on again. This is Nino TV. Today we have a special guest again. Can you believe it? Yes, again. This one is super special for me. I've known this man for quite some years now, and I'm pretty sure Barbers, you in the industry, you guys know who it is too. And you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, he has him on the channel." But if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, subscribe now. Hit like. Make sure you share this content so we can keep growing and take this to a whole nother level. Listen, guys, a little tune in to thank you for everybody that supported the last videos and all the subscribers that have been getting onto this channel and sharing love, man. Is very important to us. You know, this takes a lot of work, and us just putting in a lot of work just with hope and finding out to see what happens, right? So I want to give you guys a thank you for tuning in and subscribing to the channel. But we're going on and moving on to who we bringing on today. This man comes from Cleveland, Ohio, created his own brand of glasses. All right. Handmade wood frames, dope stuff with prescription, without prescription. However you want it, you have to hit him up. So keep your ears open, eyes open, and stay open-minded to what's about to happen with Habibe in the house. We got Mohammed. What's up, baby?
Yo, what's up, Nino?
What's going on, Mohammed?
Man, appreciate you having me out here. Now that I know everybody's subscribed and following this great show, we can get into it out here in Florida.
Man, I want to say thank you for coming out. It's an honor to have you on the channel. I'm super psyched. I spoke to a couple of barbers that you were coming on the channel, and they were super excited. You know, because you're like that. You're like that bridge for the barbers where you make us look good with the glasses. You didn't know this is one of his pair of glasses, right? And you got all the other ones sitting there. He has a lot more, so make sure you go check him out on Instagram at Habibe Sunglasses.
Yeah, for sure. Check us out. And barbers are definitely the trendsetters. You know, without a doubt, barbers set all the trends from hair to fashion to shoes.
Yeah, I seen you brought a bag of Jolly Ranchers today. For those that know me,
goes for you, Nino.
Every time he sees me at the show, he's like, "Yo, Nino, I got some Jolly Ranchers, man. I always got to grab a couple and put them in my pocket." So if you guys know about Habibe, he always has Jolly Ranchers at the show. And today he brought a bag. This is not sponsored by Jolly Ranchers, just to let you know. But this guy carries the Jolly Ranchers with him everywhere. You know, just to keep the sweet tooth and keep everybody happy.
Yeah, hospitality, customer service, and kind of rope you into the booth, right? Brings you over to see what I got, you know? So you leave with something no matter what, I guess, right? Either some really nice glasses or a nice gesture.
So really quick, man, let's let the viewers know, who is Mohammed? Why Habibe Sunglasses? Where does it come from? Where it started? I know your story, but this is not for me. This is for the viewers, right? Let them know a little bit of your story of where you come from and how you started this project, this amazing project called Habibe Sunglasses, where we have the ability to be able to wear these dope sunglasses and just show the world how good a quality you have.
Yeah, so I'm Muhammad Abdullah. Habibi, which means my love. I started as a brand in 2010 as a clothing brand, actually. So I did start out of Cleveland, Ohio, and I was running two boutiques, one in the heart of the city of Cleveland and one in a suburb called Menor, Ohio. So I was selling my designs as far as a lot of women's apparel, a lot of like club wear, and then like for the men, more like t-shirts, polos. And I was also selling some stuff from other brands like women's shoes and, you know, mixed in with my brand, some other brands in the boutique. And the brand took off really well from 2010. And then I had always been into eyewear. So I would wear frames during the day, during the night. No matter what I put on my face, someone would want, whether they legitimately just bought it off my face. And I was able to come across eyewear manufacturing, right? Because Habibi is all original designs. This is a real original designed luxury eyewear brand. So in 2012, I was able to bring my first prototype to life. And then, thank God, same as before, people just started wanting that prototype, buying one, start to make some more. And before you knew it, I had my first collection out. So this is in 2012. And then I started doing trade shows in the fashion industries, right? Like for boutiques, resorts. Um, had got my first sales rep. He was out of Florida, guy named Jimmy Davis. Um, Landed me a lot of accounts, resorts and boutiques I still have today, like the Gasparilla Inn on Boca Grande Island, Don Cesar's Resort out in St. Pete. A lot of boutiques like in Smyrna Beach and like West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And then from there, I started retail in the mall. So in 2015, I opened up in a retail location in the mall.
This was in Cleveland, Ohio, correct?
Yeah, this was in Cleveland, Ohio, in a suburb called Beechwood, Beechwood Place Mall. It's the top tier mall for the area, so it brings in a lot of local traffic, but it also brings in a lot of international traffic with people who are getting medical treatment at the Cleveland Clinic and their families. So it has a real international draw too, because it's going to be your best option for upscale shopping and your everyday shopping. It has the best combination. So I started there in 2015 in retail.
Wow, 2015. So you were selling the clothes and glasses at that time, all this apparel and all that, or was you were just focused just on the glasses?
No, and so in 2012, when I really came with the eyewear, it quickly just took over. Like that was it for me. Like fashion was like, thank God I was making money and doing well, but especially in women's apparel, you may think what women want or how it should be cut and designed, and it just wasn't. I just didn't feel that was going to take me to the top. The other thing is when you come in as a smaller time fashion designer, by the time you can get your designs done and made, the trend could already have changed, especially in women's fashion. Women's fashion changes very quick. And, women I feel tend to have more choices in outfits and move through things quicker, whereas men may buy the pieces that are important to them may be the highest quality and they rock with them for a long time. Whereas women have expensive pieces, but they also have a lot of everyday pieces. They don't want to have the same thing. So just keeping up with the sizes and the cost and everything, it wasn't going to work for me. I felt as spreading out the brand, being able to keep up with the travel cost, the trade show cost, having these different sizes, making sure I could meet the demands of what the clients needed. Whereas eyewear is kind of like a one-stop shop, right? If the shape and the size complements you, it's either I'm going to buy it or I'm not.
Hmm. And you're so great with that, man, because every time you go to the show and people walk up to your booth, it's like you have that eye and you're like, hey, I got the right glasses for you. Put them on, and they immediately fall in love with that, man. And it's so crazy that you have that ability to be able to just see it in in their faces and be able to say, "This is what I have." And I haven't seen that one person that hasn't bought one yet. When you come and you do that,
Yeah, it's an art for me, sort of like when someone sits in your chair and you just can see, you know, where the fade needs to be, or how the crop top should look, or where the beard line should be. Thank God it's a real art to me. I have a real passion for it, right? I always tell the client, I want you to wear these more than me, because it's better for the brand, right? I don't want you to get something you're not going to wear. And that's what we do. My real slogan is, I don't sell, I style. I will tell a client not to buy something just as quick as I'll tell them to buy something.
I've seen it because they grab another pair of glasses. You know what? I don't think those fit you right. These are the ones.
Yep.
You end up just grabbing the ones that they want, and they end up, okay, I trust you, and they end up trusting your opinion because you see it, and when they look at themselves in the mirror, yeah, it's great.
Yep. And a lot of people are shy with eyewear, Nino. I'll tell you the truth. Like, we're definitely not in pressure sales or chase you down an aisle, come try on what we have. But when a client shows interest, you'd be surprised how many people just are uncomfortable to just pick something up and put it on their face. So I feel that a nice polite gesture, a suggestion, it helps break the ice and lets them know that you're here to serve them, right? Like, we are selling luxury eyewear. It's in a more higher price point, and I think clients who everybody works hard for the money, they deserve that service and that treatment and that product knowledge. I always try to give the client product knowledge. What are the glasses made from? What is the quality of them? How can they use them? So customer service is at the top for me and for the Habibi brand.
And we can see it. We can see it. I'm pretty sure everybody in the barber industry sees it too. Man, you get so much love. Everybody, I see it all the time. They'll just come by your booth, even if they already have glasses. You come to say hi, just to show you love because you have that personality to where you make them feel good when they come. It's like an experience when you come up to the Habibi booth.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we definitely strive for that. And I think it's like minds being attracted. The barbering and beauty industries and the people in those industries are a lot of people who were counted out, or a lot of people who really had to struggle before they got where they got, and come from, different backgrounds where, even though I'm not a barber or hairstylist, we can relate to the entrepreneurship, the hustle. We can relate to the love of freedom of working for ourselves, the love of um, having something not everybody can have, being wearing boutique brands, wearing niche brands, and that's something that we share, and we just share in positivity. I tell barbers all the time, I do shows in multiple industries. The level of unity is like none other than in the barbering and beauty industries. I'm sure there's some who will tell you about some discord somewhere, or there's little beefs or rifts here and there, but not like in other industries. This is an amazing connected industry, and it's an amazing industry of people who love to help elevate another person. That right there is just makes me love and be so grateful to God I'm in that industry, because it's just the people who are all trying to elevate with each other and also love new brands. You have a lot of people who will say, "Oh, I want what everybody don't have," but they go to the same mainstream places and they buy the same names as everybody else. And barbers and stylists are the ones who say they want something different and mean it.
and create it.
And not only just create it, but again, when I started Habibi, first it was like, because we do use a lot of wood, like you mentioned in the beginning. A lot of our styles we use exotic wood, and it used to just be like people would get it, and this is 2012 time, so social media is kind of getting to popping now, right? Most people would represent it as, "Oh, I bought these wood glasses." When it started to get into the barbers and stylists, it was, "I got these Habibi glasses." And they were the ones who branded the brand, you know? So that it comes from that wanting something different and being real trendsetters.
So you would say that the barbers were the first ones to really believe in what you were creating, um, and and
100%.
and and push your brand to a whole nother level.
100%. Thank God. On a whole, changed my life.
So let's go back a little bit in time, right? How do you end up in the barber industry? What what brought you in here? How did you believe that this was going to happen through the barber industry?
So when I started retail in the mall,
Mhm.
I I would run the place. So I was there every day. Mall hours 10 to 9, never missing a beat. Um and a Cleveland barber, his name is Chris Santana. You know Chris.
Yes.
So he would shop in that mall, and he would come to me and he'd be like, "Hey, look, you have a really nice product here, and I put on a barber competition. It's an expo. It has competitions. It has vendors. It has education. You really should come out and get a vendor space at my show." And at that time, I know of him. He's popular in the city. He's a great barber. He has great barbers working with him. He has a busy shop, and he's a nice guy. So, I'm entertaining the thought, but it's not resonating. So I'm not like, yeah, yeah, no problem. Let me sign up. What do I got to do? So he comes a second time, again, shopping in the mall, stops by. Hey, I'm telling you, the show's coming up. No, really, you have a nice product. It'll do really well in my expo. Again, like, I know he's a nice guy, and like,
Yeah, it was just another sales pitch. Like it happens on many cases, especially you being in a retail place like that. There's always somebody trying to have you buy into to something that they have going on, right? And like you say, sometimes we brush it off, we miss out on opportunities. Uh, but in this case, that wasn't your case. So I know you're
yeah.
gonna keep talking about that, but I get you. I get what you're saying. Like you're like he's like, oh, again, I don't know if I want to like you were comfortable and you were making it happen where you were, so you didn't want to probably leave where you were. So go take a chance and find out and see if you were going to be able to make it.
But I know he's not pressed, meaning that I know he's already doing great. So he's
And I know he don't press you because
no, he
Chris
don't.
is a person. He's very mellow. He's like, hey,
Very
yo, you know
mellow,
what I
and
mean.
I
He's
know
a mellow
I'm
person.
thinking like he doesn't need my little vendor booth money. So he's got to. So it's still going on in my head. Yo, he's got to be telling me this for a reason. But my thing was, I was a little bit standoffish because I'm thinking like, yeah, maybe I'll go there and people are gonna say they like it, but are they really gonna spend the dollars? Because a lot of times, you have a lot of people who want to approach you. Oh, I'll make it popular for it. Just give them away to me, or I can do this, or because I worked in the entertainment industry for some time, and you have a lot of that there. You have a lot of people with empty promises there. So I'm already kind of like still in that mentality, and I'm like, thank God this brand is going. I'm having real customers in this mall. I'm starting to make real dollars. Finally, Chris comes back a third time. He's like, look, my man, for the competition, if you give to me a few pairs that the winners will get, we're not going to just give them away. They got to earn them. They'll go to the winners. We'll do it in exchange for the vendor space. And then I found out my man was DJing the event.
Hmm.
So my man DJ Flacco was DJing the event. We're like family. I'm like, man, okay, maybe I'll just go through my man's DJing it. I ain't seen him in a while. He really elevated me when I was just a clothing brand.
So did you hit him up by any chance and ask him, hey, what about the show? Who's this
I
guy?
didn't.
That
You
no.
know what? I didn't because we like those boys. Like when we link up, or we'll like link up somewhere out of town. People wouldn't even know, but we not like call every day or talk every day kind of people. So I didn't really want to. And I knew Chris. Like Chris is a solid guy. So the day of the show comes, Sunday, right? Barber shows are on Sundays. There's me. I'm not going to close up early. Mall hours are till 6. I'm going to be there until 6 o'clock. Close up the mall, run to my house to put some special shelving I had put together for the show, right? I need a trade show booth. Never done a trade show in this industry. So I go home, I get the stuff, I get to the show. Mind you, now it's probably, we're going 7:30, 8 o'clock. Walk in the door. This joint is shaking. Now I'm gonna back up a little bit before I get through the doors. Now the night before the show, Chris comes back And he comes back with 3 guys. He comes back with Papito Blessed Hands, Esco G from Shampoo Blades,
Guy.
and Omi the Barber. And he introduces me to them. He's like, yo, I brought him to the mall. You know, we're doing a little shopping. Show is tomorrow. I want you to meet these guys. They're going to be educators at the show. So Papito really takes a liking to the glasses. Hey, these are really nice. And, you know, I do a lot of hand-tinted lenses, so they're full UV sunglasses, but you can wear them daytime, nighttime, inside, outside. That's my specialty. And so Papito, he likes a pair. He gets a pair. We take a picture together. They walk off. I don't think nothing of it. I just think, wow, those were really nice guys. Like, man, okay, I feel good. I'm going to know somebody at the show tomorrow. Like, now I'm feeling a little more positive about the show. Not that I was ever in the negative mode. I was just in the I don't know what to expect mode. All right, I'll know a few people there. So a few minutes goes by. I pick up my phone, typical every day, look at if you have any messages or scroll. My Instagram is going crazy like never before. I'm looking up this guy. He got 125,000 followers. You know what I'm saying? And then that was Saturday night. Sunday, a couple people walked by the booth. Are these going to be the glasses at the show? And I'm still not putting it together, Nino.
So they went to the mall.
They saw Papito they were local barbers. They saw the post because even still now, but at that time, Papito, he's on top. You know, he's still killing it. But at that time, that was the big.
That was his peak moment. That was his moment where he was hitting hard. I remember
that was a moment when social media, like, it was different algorithm, different time. So many people were seeing everything with ease. So when you had that many followers at that time, it was so natural for everybody to see everything. Now you got to work hard to keep that, right? It just was at the perfect time. So I was like, yeah, they'll be there, and, you know, whatever. And now we're back to the show, right? So now we're back to Sunday. Those guys came by during mall hours. I get to the show. Place is just shaking. Show was just wall to wall. People everywhere, like, still going strong. 8:00 at night. I get to my table after I could finally move through all the masses of people, right? Like, I'm bringing in shelves and glasses and set up my little shelves. And I have these, like, they're special, like, optical cases. So they're like briefcases, but you open them, you click open the little buttons, and the glasses are all in nice little trays. Nino, I never got the glasses on the shelf. As soon as that case opened, yo, I want this, I want this, I want it. Never got the glasses on the shelf. Crazy.
Wow.
From that March of 2016 until today, I've done a barber show 42 out of 50 weeks a year easily, and for the last 9 years.
I know you were busy. Like, you're always busy. Even to be able to do this interview now, where you gave me some dates. It says I'm only going to be in Florida from this time to this time. Mind you, now you live in Florida, correct?
Since 21.
Yeah, you see that, and now it's like I was like, but you live here. He's like, no, you know, I got a couple shows I got to go to. So you always stay busy. I see it all the time. Every time I see a big show, Habibe's there, Habibe's there, and it's crazy how it all just started by just one moment, one barber come up to you and just tell you, hey, you know, believe me, this is what's gonna happen.
Never gave up on me, bro.
Never give up on you.
Thank God, because of him, my life changed. My business changed and my life changed. You know what I mean? And that's that real sincerity that, he didn't need my little vendor money. He didn't need my little few pairs of glasses for his winners. And that's that barber and stylist attitude that we want other people to win. I don't lose if you win. He wins more if I win. And you don't get that in a lot of industries, man.
Imagine if you would have been scared and not just say, I'm not gonna go over there. You would have probably missed out on your biggest opportunity.
Real talk.
You know, and that's what sometimes happens in this industry. I got a buddy of mine that ended up getting signed by a company. I don't want to say his name right now. We'll talk about that in a different situation, you know, by going to the show. There as an educator, ended up getting signed, not knowing what opportunity is there. You know, he just went there, showed up, was present, did what he had to do, and an opportunity came out.
Yep.
You know, If you would have never done that, that would have never happened. And one thing that I always say, man, for those of you watching, if you're ever gonna do something and you want something to grow, the first place I would go is to a barbershop. I would go to the busiest barbershops around town and make stuff happen because in the barber industry, they support so much. There's always opportunity in this industry.
That's real. That is real.
So much. Barbers are like a barbers are like a bridge for a lot of industries and a lot of stuff going on. You know, sometimes we're like, oh well, I won't buy it right now. They might not buy it, but they might refer you to somebody else who they might know. And in that case, look, that happened to you. Look at you now. Now you travel so many different. I've seen you in different, so many different states.
I've lived in Florida. I've lived in Florida since 2021. I've been in Florida since 2021, not even 200 days.
That's crazy.
Like we're in April right now. I left home in January. I just got home after ABS 4 days ago, literally straight. All barber and beauty events.
So you went IBS. You were also in IBS, correct?
That was New York 2 weeks
Yeah,
before. So it was IBS, then it was Chris and Huda's show in Cleveland,
and then it was ABS,
and then it was ABS, and now I'm home for a few days, and then I'm back out on the road and in and out for the rest of the year. But literally, I'm home 40 to 52 days a year.
Wow, how do you do it? How do you stay motivated to really?
You know, a lot of people ask me that. That's a question I get asked a lot, and I'll tell you what keeps me motivated is not clocking in for someone calling me buddy all day. Freedom. And the road is like therapy for me. I drive everywhere. 160,000 miles plus a year. Drive everywhere. Only show I don't drive to is Puerto Rico. And trust me, if I could, I would.
So you go to Puerto Rico as well?
Yeah. San Juan Beauty Show. Yeah. Amazing show. Roberto does an amazing job.
That's awesome.
I mean, he got the bands out there, fireworks. That's not a show. That's a production, Nino.
Yeah. I see it all the time. I haven't been. I've been wanting to go. Obviously, that's my home. That's home for me.
Yeah.
But
Ya tu sabes.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's it right there. Puerto Rico for life, man. I've gotten a lot of love in Puerto Rico. A lot of good business. A lot of good people in Puerto Rico. Good people there. A lot of love in their hearts. A lot of good people. Great show. Love the island. Just want to see good things for Puerto Rico. I always tell people what Puerto Rico needs is a professional baseball team and a professional basketball team. That would be amazing. That would be the missing link for Puerto Rico. That would really elevate it.
I think so too. A lot of people say it too that we need a team. Hopefully the Rays will go to Puerto Rico, right? That we're talking about the Rays are being sold.
Well, they don't want to go back to St. Pete. That's funny you said that. I went to the game last night.
Oh, you were there
just talking to people like they're just like, yo, St. Pete. You know, it's unfortunate the stadium lost the roof, but it's just not an ideal location for anybody who's not coming from Tampa Bay. And they said a lot of people who come to the games aren't even majority from Tampa Bay.
It's so easy. It's so convenient there because they have the airport right next to it.
Okay.
The airport's right there, so you just jump off a plane and just get to the game real quick. When it was in St. Pete, you had to get out in the airport, cross the bridge, and hope that you won't make it to the game late.
That's what they said. Right? That bridge is the real.
It's the biggest problem because you gotta understand. Like people don't understand that St. Pete. It's just like a peninsula. It's like a
Clearwater's like that a little bit.
It's all one little island off of Florida.
Yeah, so we saw him, and the stadium was the Yankees spring training stadium. Is where the game I went to last night was at. Yeah. Good time, good. Yeah, but that would be great for Puerto Rico. But that is an amazing show. He does every November, and then he does another one this year. It's in the spring. It's always in the spring, April, May.
Yeah, I think it's May 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. May 3rd or something like that. The first week of May, I seen that they're doing the show. I was told that show was made by somebody else. I didn't know it was from the same person from Robert.
Yeah, he used to do the spring one. He used to do in Ponce, and now he brought it back. He brought it back to Puerto Rico, so they're both at the San Juan Convention Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I seen that. I seen that event. I just didn't know it was by the same person. But back to your beginnings, right? And So now that you go to Cleveland, you went to Cleveland. I heard you went to Cleveland recently. How are these shows for you now from when you first started?
Well,
Has your sales changed drastically?
no, thank God it's been a steady growth. And right now, the how I see the professional barbering and beauty industries as going through a real transition. It's a new generation. I see a lot of the the bigger national and semi-regional shows starting to get big again. And I see what's happening in a lot of the smaller B or C shows is that they're some of them are some of them are going away, and others are also starting to grow again. It's an odd transition. It's a real pick and choose market right now where you want to be and where you want to exhibit. That's just the reality because it's a new generation. It's a generation now that shows are bringing in more and more students and less professionals.
Hmm.
And a company like mine needs the balance of both. You can plant a lot of seeds with students, but they may not be ready for the kind of purchase that I offer right now. But we
Hmm.
do great with students. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's a different market in the show industry. So I think it's going to be another year or two, and you're going to really know what shows are going to stand the test of time. I think after the shutdown, I think some shows came back out a little too expensive, asking a little too much from the companies and from from sponsorship to vendor booth price to other things. And I think a lot of people came out of the shutdown thinking there's so much money readily available, but that went away quick. So um, I think we're gonna see for another year. You got to kind of like hit or miss
Hmm.
for a year and really decide where do you want to be come 2026.
But you still been pretty steady out of
Me,
so
me,
many
me. Thank God. I'm answering that question. I'm answering that question based off of information that comes to
that
me.
comes to you. Yep.
Me on a personal level and Habibi on a personal level. Thank God we have just been steady, like up, up, up.
So I only asked that question because, like you said, you 42 weeks out of out of 52 52 weeks in a year that you're at different shows,
Yeah.
and it's like these people are seeing the same see Habibi everywhere, right? And you can only buy so many glasses at some point.
Right.
So it's like for some people, and same thing as when it happens with some of these shows that the same companies are at the same shows and the same shows. Like I seen them at the last show. Why am I gonna buy again? So when I ask in a matter of has it has it affected by you being at the shows, being present so many times? Obviously you see the shows on, and obviously like you said with growth and how the decreasing and increasing and stuff like that. Has that affected you in any way?
Well, we're real national in this trade show thing. So you're right. In the scheme of things, you're in repeat places,
Mhm.
but most markets might see me once a year. So by the time another year comes, and a lot of people are like, I bought these, and the compliments are amazing. The quality is amazing. I wear them all the time. They're ready for something new, or they want to bring. Oh, I brought my colleague, or I brought my auntie, or I brought my whole shop. And again, and that's the great thing also about another generation coming in, and more new students and new younger professionals coming in. Um, they haven't been
They
exposed
haven't.
to the
Yes.
brand. So for me, it's, I won't oversaturate one market. I'm not just doing 42 shows a year in Florida or Illinois or Wisconsin, right? I'm moving around. So most people are seeing me once a year. There's some more major markets, like I'm doing multiple shows in Las Vegas or multiple shows in Chicago, but places like New York City, IBS New York, I'm there once a year. So for me, that is a good enough time span, and we're real boutiquey. By the next time you see me, except for some flagship styles, I'm gonna have something new,
Something
God
new.
willing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
seen that.
something new, something fresh. Like, I don't take my foot off the gas when it comes to making sure that I'm staying fresh and also staying relevant to the youth. I'm not always just selling what I may want
You're staying in the
glasses to
trend.
look.
You're staying in into
Trying
what
to,
trying to. Yeah.
trying to, and always staying conscious that I need to make sure that is important to me. Can't get comfortable
Mm.
and think that, oh well, I'll just design the way I want. Doesn't work
No.
like that. It's a
Because
whole
you gotta be open to everybody's market, right? And like I said, there's
absolutely,
a pair of glasses for everybody out there at some point. And
absolutely.
if you don't have it, I'm pretty sure that you're looking into, well, how can I design this to make this these type of people happy. Um,
And how can I not design it that it like at the end of the day, you face certain realities. Sure, we are our own brand, but when you're a brand that's still at the level I'm at, it's so easy for people to just, oh, well, this looks just like and name another top tier brand. So my thing is always staying conscious of how can I make sure that I look originality. People don't come to me and say, "Oh, do you got that frame that looks like this brand?" They know they're not going to find that with me. And once they find that with me, that would be a problem. We of course there's just
because
so many.
now you're mocking something that's not original.
That
That's
is
not original.
another thing you really got takes a lot of time and energy. How can I make sure this doesn't look like being an original brand these days in almost any fashion industry? So much has been done. What are you going to do new? So with me, it's more about how can I tweak what's already out there, and I don't try to put myself in a mindset, how am I going to create something that's never been done? Because that can just drive you bonkers, and you'll come to no conclusion, or you'll get so far outside the box, it's not a real everyday wear brand, right? Like, I'm not going to come with something that is just looks like you're from another planet.
Mhm.
Not what I do. I've never understood a lot of fashion shows. Why are they walking down the runway showing this and
Yeah,
spending millions of dollars on this production? Yo, no one's ever going to wear that.
so true.
Not to knock it, because there's probably something they
And if
know
they
I
do it,
don't,
if they
and
do,
why
it's
they
probably
do that.
like a red carpet or something, and just a one time thing, and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, there's something they know I don't why they
Mhm.
do that. I'm in no way knocking it. But that's not for me going to turn into dollars and longevity. I need to make sure I'm giving you something you can really still wear every day and be comfortable in yourself, but also be unique and different, because that's the brand. We say we're a brand for trendsetters.
Mhm.
If you want to be for trendsetters, you have to give them things that they feel are not already being done, because that's what a trend is, something new, something different.
That's That's so dope that you bring in so originality for so many people. Like I said, these right here are one of my favorite pairs. I don't see nobody else has it. Every time I walk outside and I wear them, I use them a lot. And a lot of people say, it's like they can't just find it anywhere unless I send them over to your website and actually try to get them, or another barber that's at a trade show. Um, and I'm pretty sure you probably didn't make a lot of them either of this pair.
No,
You know what I
no,
mean?
we
That's
have
another thing. You make a limited
limited.
quantity on certain type of styles.
Most styles, yeah. We have a few flagships that for over the years we've continued to make over and over. That's just, I think that's also important as a brand, is you have to have those staple designs and those flagship ones that can identify as the Habibi brand. Like, I definitely want to have some styles, if people see it, they know that's a Habibi,
Mhm.
right? But probably I would say over 90% of my designs, once they're gone, never come back.
Um, so why hasn't Habibi grown to a point to where you're not in a retail store, or you don't have a bigger team to where that like Habibi is at more trade shows than just one location at a time. Is that a personal preference? Is that something that you're looking forward to, or is that something that you want to just become more exclusive to where? it's more for yourself. I'm only asking because I know a lot of people watching is like, well, if he's been doing so good, why hasn't it grown to another level? Not saying that you haven't grown. It's just a general question as for the viewers.
But being 100% honest with you, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And a lot of it goes back to how it happened when I was in the mall and Chris came to my place. I'm really big on letting things happen naturally. Anything I feel like I'm forcing, I'm quick to. Now, I'm not afraid of hard work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit afraid of doing things that make me uncomfortable, but I'm not 100% afraid of that. But if it feels like I'm forcing it, boy, I'm done quicker than I started because that just hasn't been the blueprint. I think right now, thank God I'm enjoying what I'm doing. The quality of life is great. The new ideas are still rolling. The sales are there. The following is there. I think now it's really starting for me to start to feel like going to the next level, God willing, it's now in the hands of the people. I think it's going to be the people that can take me there. But to become a household brand, for me, it's going to be a slow and steady roll. It's not going to be like a cult overnight thing. You're going to get up tomorrow and it's just a quick fad and a phase. I think it's a long-term brand. I also think it's a more of a brand for the people, and it just has to keep building and building and building. I think I'm very close. I think
get into that point.
Yeah, I can really honestly say that, and I never sell myself a dream. I know I have a long way to go. Just to throw a name out there, like I know I'm in no level of a Ray-Ban, and I get that.
I wouldn't say that, man.
No, that's listen, that's a household brand. Like
I agree.
you know what I mean?
I agree, but I also believe in certain things, certain shifts in life that can become household name. We've seen it I've seen it so many times,
and I believe in that. I do believe in that, and I believe the people. I think that's something the people got to take it there. I don't have the. We didn't go into it with every magazine, chasing down every celebrity, chasing down every athlete. We came in, we sell a nice product to the people. And again, the niche that has really changed for me is the barber and the stylist and beauty professionals.
But I believe that you have something great in your hands. Just hasn't touched the right people at some point. Not saying that not the barbers or whatever, but just people that really believe in it. Like anything else, it's like Beats were just regular headphones. Yep. They weren't a household name until the owner of the company understood that Dre said, we're gonna give it to LeBron James, we're gonna give it to this type of people,
yeah,
give it this type of people. Once they start using it, they knew that people were gonna start using it. Me, I'm a fan of you. A fan of your glasses. If you go check in my room, I got a collection of them, like I said. But that's a majority of my glasses are Habibe. And I know Ray-Bans are, but I believe more in something that people don't have at some point, right? Then when it becomes a household name, like it's gonna get to a point to where okay, now as a household name, everybody will start buying it. But then it becomes to a situation to where now everybody has it.
Now I'll tell you something too, though, that I'm huge on quality of life, right? Like I always tell people, let's just use let's use big numbers because we want to go big, but let's use easy numbers. I tell people a lot of times, I would rather sell 5 million and keep 2 rather than sell 20 million and keep 1. Sometimes a lot of people don't know that getting that big or being everywhere and having a brand in front of everybody in every location and every big box and every optical shop, they don't always realize that doesn't translate to more profits. And that definitely doesn't always translate to more quality of life, because now you're spending every minute and every dollar to either keep that money or understand those contracts or being too busy to have that time for yourself to live life. See, there's quality of life, which is your time, your energy, your family, your health. These things are more important than the dollars. Now, the numbers don't lie, but what a lot of people don't translate to is fame doesn't always equal fortune. So I'm kind of like,
it brings more problems if I believe it brings more problems in many cases, now because now you're at the eye of the target or whatever it's called, like where people now they have something to say about you because they always want to talk bad about the persons that are doing the people that are
or
doing
just
good.
cost gets driven down, retail price gets driven down. I know stories of people who've been in big box contracts and they ended horrible. Buybacks. We need you to buy a percent back. I've heard of companies manufacture and on the 28th day before the 30th day of the contract, big box stores have canceled. Now you have all this. They're not all deals, for example, and it isn't just. I'm just using the word big box, right? I mean, not all these massive deals where all of a sudden a brand is in everybody's mouth and in everybody's house means more money. I kind of right now I'm kind of enjoying the niche boutique space, but I think I haven't hit the ceiling of that space. So I'm kind of good there, but I'm never going to reject any possibility. I'm open to hear it, but I just want it to happen natural. I think I've come so far. Like 8 years ago, like I would be dreaming to be where I am now. And I try to stay complacent and remember that, right? Because we always want to go further. But did you ever stop and enjoy where you are?
Mm-hmm.
No one's even enjoying where they are. They all want to be, most people, they want to be somewhere else. So I'm pretty content. I'm enjoying where I'm at, but I'm never taking the foot off the gas of customer service and the quality and, like I said, keeping new, fresh, different. Like in the last 2 years, I've started to use a lot of like the wood is like round shaped on the temple barrel. It looks very elite. It's very different. We actually developed a flexible spring hinge on that. A lot of eyewear, if you look at it and it has a round temple, it can't usually have the flex hinge. We invented some technology and the ability to make it the right size to not stick out in a funny way to be able to do that. I'm working on things like that. And then whatever comes for our next level, that's what we hope will happen natural. Could be through this podcast. Somebody could, like, this is stuff I've never done. This is the next step for me. People don't even know who is the owner for the brand. There's no face for the brand. And that's what a lot of people get on me about. Like, look, Muhammad, whether you wanted it or not, you're going to have to be some part of the face of this brand for people to know who you are.
Yes, because I think in many cases, a lot of people are buying you.
That's what happened.
What your knowledge is. They believe in you. They care about what your opinion is, right? In many cases, why the like when I ask you guys thinking of, like, if you're thinking of growing, if you're thinking like when I know that everything would change for the simple fact that you can duplicate the glasses, but you can't duplicate you.
And that's your answer to why we're not running multiple teams all over. It's a blessing and a hardship. There's been occasions that I'll send somebody to an event if there's 2 in one day and we try to maybe double up, and I'll get a WhatsApp video call. Yo, Muhammad, what's up? We just grabbed these. We want you to know, hey, well, how you doing? You ain't here. It's like, or the reps will come back and be like, look, Muhammad, we had a lot of people just say go grab them when they see me.
Shows that you weren't there, and I noticed the difference. I noticed the difference from the.
But we're working on that, Nino. We are working on that. We have some younger men and women that we think have the juice, that really love the brand and are learning a love for the brand, and we are working on that. But that is the only way I can get over the next hump,
Mm-hmm.
is to be able to, the product has to move without every sale being generated
From you.
from me.
Yes.
And maybe in some other industries we can start with another face, but you're absolutely right. That would be, besides I don't know, that would be my next answer, is that we are building that team and we are trying to educate those persons to work in other industries, but it's very hard. It's like starting over again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like starting over
But
again.
if you did it once, you can do it again, man.
I'm
Like,
doing,
you do
that's
it
it.
again.
Absolutely. I do believe that. I'm just very honest to myself, right? I would rather over deliver to myself than over promise. Like, oh yeah, it's just gonna be easy. I'm gonna send him or her to,
Just because your expectations come from you, from yourself. You
absolutely.
know,
Yeah.
it's like you can't motivate somebody else to do something for you.
Can't.
But it has to come from you. You know, so it's like 100% of my effort is better than 50% of somebody else's effort, right? I
That's
think.
real.
um, and as you were saying, you know, this is your first. Like, this is an opportunity for you, like something that you're on, you don't do all the time.
No.
Well, one of the key things that I want out of this channel is to be able to bring opportunity. Maybe somebody's listening sometime. Somebody come up with an idea, somebody wants to believe in what you have going on and take it to a whole nother level, you know, or if you want to, right? But or other opportunities come out of it. You know, somebody big will end up buying your glasses, and there's another opportunity, something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, we do all this based off of faith, you know, and I know a lot of people come onto my channel with the faith of maybe an opportunity coming out of it. And I appreciate that, you know, that you come on here and you're actually telling us all this and really seeing that there's an opportunity in this. Um, I also seen that recently you were at a ABS and you gave out a $5,000 prize.
We did. Yeah.
You want to tell
5,000
the
cash.
viewers a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I've started to work a little more closely with an organization called Beauty Changes Lives. I sincerely think it's time for me to do some giving back, because the barbering and stylist and professional beauty industries, thank God, have changed my life,
Mm-hmm.
changed my company. And I wanted to do something in Chicago this year. So what I did is, with each purchase, you got one ticket. And that ticket went into, for a raffle. So you got the glasses regardless. We didn't change our price. We didn't do anything different than we do at any show. We had a show special still, all our newest designs. Nothing was held back. And what we did at America's Beauty Show in Chicago was we limited it to 500 entries, and we drew one winner the last day of the show, Monday. Level 3 offered us their stage, actually. We were going to do it at the Habibe sunglasses booth, but Jay Nori from Level 3 was kind enough to say, you know, Muhammad, I like what you're doing. I want you to use my stage. Big 40-foot stage, big Jumbotron screen. He helped hype it up. And we drew one winner and gave them 5,000 cash. And also what I did is, proceeds from every sale, I also donated to Beauty Changes Lives. Again, they help give scholarships to people for cosmetology and barbering to help them in their school. I believe this year, because they do their big check unveiling at ABS Chicago, and they had already raised before the show, before our donation, they had already raised 96,000 and some dollars this year. Yeah, and then they have places you can go and apply for scholarship help as a beauty or barber student. And I'm trying to also now, Nino, get them to work even more in the barbering. Another reason I did this is because I feel that, you know, I had a great conversation with Candy Shaw. She's the owner of Sunlight Balayage.
Mhm.
She's one of the big financial raisers for Beauty Changes Life. She raises a lot of money, a lot of money. And when me and Candy talked, what I took away from it was that if God willing, I write this check for the winner. That's the fun part. That's still giving
Yeah.
back, right? For
Yeah.
the winner, but also to the charity. We're hoping other companies now will want to follow. And next year in ABS Chicago, I have some great ideas, other ways to get other companies involved that we can raise money and give back, because a lot of companies giving little bit adds up to a lot. So this is my time now too, where I think it's important to give back, right? You got to give back.
Because especially with the way that you ended up winning, right? Where you got opportunity that you didn't expect, and just now to be able to do this type of stuff and use your influence to be able to give back, it's amazing.
I'm not a barber,
You're
Nino,
not.
and thank God. And we're going on 10 plus years, probably closing in on 1,000 trade exhibitions. Thank God I've never had a barber stylist come to my space and say, "Why should I support you? You're not a barber or stylist." Not once, Nino.
That's amazing.
Not once. Not uno. Never. So it's like when you're getting that respect, when an industry is letting you be part of their industry,
Mm-hmm.
why would you not give back?
So true.
It's just amazing to be part of that, because a lot of us, in business have a hard time finding where we fit in.
And I think now you're doing now you're moving with purpose now too.
I
Now you're
agree.
moving with purpose. Now it's no longer about just your glasses. Now there's a bigger purpose behind everything that you're doing right now.
And I can
And
feel that.
I
I
think
feel
it's amazing.
fulfillment in that.
I think it's amazing. You were also telling me something else is coming up now. If you want to let the viewers know about what was it, the 100-day class, or the 100 class, something like that.
Yeah. So I'm actually running an education tour.
Yes, that's what it was. Education.
Right. So it's powered by Habibe sunglasses, and where I have an educator from Jacksonville, Fernando Corpse.
Yeah.
Nando. He also does the Jack's Elite Barber Expo, and he owns Fade and Combs Barber Shop in Jacksonville. They have 4 locations. Great guy, young guy, hardworking guy, and he's the educator for the tour. So we are educating with Coco Tools. We are doing beard service in a master beard class together with the service
Mhm.
with that Urban Edge beard products. They have an amazing beard oil, butter, and shampoo, and ready to launch pomades, hairspray, and some other products. Formulated in New Jersey, great brand, great owner, um, man by the name of Javier. And then we've just added to the tour shampoo blades. So what we're doing in the cities, we do the trade show. We are on Monday and Tuesday doing education in the barber colleges, and then some master classes in the barber shops where we tap into students and professionals. But Fernando also will tap into some financial things about
Very important. Definitely.
LLCs and S corps, and things that we don't try to frustrate students with. We would rather in the class help you with ways to get clients in the chair. Let's get you the dollars, then let's help you put the dollars
Honest
to use the right way, right?
in
Like
place.
that's just the reality.
Hmm.
When Habibi was selling nothing, I didn't want to hear about stock. I didn't want to hear about what I should be doing, because it's amazing. Everybody always thinks they know what you should be doing.
Hmm. That
Why
is
you
so
think you
true.
know what I should be doing?
So true.
What are you doing? So I like to think realistically. A barber in barber college right now, just be a sole proprietor. Just use your social security and file taxes. Once you getting them in the chair and you're making dollars, let's have the
Yeah,
conversation.
there's a level to everything. There's a
Level to
level to
everything,
everything.
Nino.
As long as you're educating yourself to be able to get to that next level, I think that's the most important thing. And the way you start that is by actually educating yourself when you have when you have the chance. So when that time does come, you're ready for that moment.
And you know what
Ready
else
to
is
level up.
important that a lot of people don't get? Don't try to educate people on the level you're not on. Send them to the person who's on that level. Take them as far as you can, or let someone take you as far as they can.
Hmm.
Because if you haven't really lived it, or you haven't really been through it, you're probably not going to be able to help me as much as someone
That has.
that has. And these are the things when these are the things that, yeah, they're fun to say when you're eating good and living good and driving good. But they're also the things you're supposed to look back and say, you know what? On those hard days, that's why I had to go through that. If I didn't experience that level, how do I know the next? If I didn't experience hardship, how do I know ease? None of us want the hardship.
Nope.
I don't want the hardship. I don't want the struggle. But, you know, I'm not the kind of guy who's going to get on camera and make it all sunshine and rainbows. Like, there's so much stuff, Nino, I'm still figuring out. But what I know enough to know is that I'm not going to try to talk to you or educate you on something that
That you're not familiar
I'm
with.
not familiar with. And I'm going to tell you I don't know before I act like I know. You know, and that's 100% with me. But the tour is great. Fernando's a great educator. I also feel it's another way to give back. We're bringing brand awareness for multiple brands. We do some awareness for the Habibe brand as well, because I do have an exclusive sunglass collaboration I did with Coco Hair Pro. I designed a sunglass that was only available for purchase with the Hyperveloce clipper, and that frame done so well that, you know, we've brought some more in and brought them on the tour. Yeah, the tour kicked off in October, and by August of 2026, we should be closing in on about 120 to 130 classes. Yeah, we're already like
Amazing.
we're already like 30 in. So our goal from August 2025 to August 2026 is another 74 to 100 classes.
That's so dope, man. How it's a dope story. Now you're able to like to get back to industry. The industry that gave you everything, that they gave you life, they gave you the opportunity to become the person that you are now, and now you're actually dealing with the new generation, right? Well, where you're putting yourself in. Hey, a baby is part of the industry. You know, you might not cut hair. You're not a barber, but you're part of our lifestyle. You're part of our, you know, you put swag on a lot of barbers out there. I'm part of this, and this is my way of giving back to you guys for believing in what you were creating.
Yeah.
That's pretty much that's a resume of what I see that's happening right now. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a lot more people that are gonna end up collaborating with you.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that. A lot
You know what I mean?
of
That's gonna end
companies
up
already
happening.
reaching out. There was a lot of like cringe at first. It was like, you know, I know a lot of people were kind of thinking like, well, what is he doing now? Now you're organizing education. How? One word, relationships. Starts with a collaboration. It starts with knowing people in the industry.
I think people are biased sometimes, man, because the way I look at it is, man, a lot of these product owners, a lot of these product owners are not even barbers. So how can they come and tell you something like that?
Hmm.
So when it comes to the point to where you buying stuff off of somebody that's not even that are capitalizing, they're not part of the industry.
Yeah. I guess, like, you know, I played a role in that because I'm not a barber, you know, and you're
But it's
right.
biased
But I
to
try
be able
to, well,
to come and tell, you know, for them to come and question something like that without knowing that there's so many other people that are capitalizing in this industry.
yeah.
You got you got a lot of franchise shops that are not, that the owners are not in the industry and they're just capitalizing. So how is it bad that you're coming, you're bringing value to something?
I'm trying
You're
to
bring,
bring,
you know what I mean? Like you're trying to bring value.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They should be
Absolutely.
grateful that you're actually reinvesting into the industry. You don't have to.
Well, it's just probably,
But
I think it's more just a transition, like when people really came to the booth and they picked up the glasses and they saw the quality, and, you know, thank God it to some degree it sold itself. You can tell when you pick up a quality product.
Mhm.
I think though,
But it bothers me. It bothers me. Like when you said that,
but when they
like,
see
it
the
bothers me
class, when they see the class though, Nino, and once we do it, it's people right away realize what we're doing. I think it was I maybe the way I said it was a little bit off. I think to a lot of people it was just more, what is this going to be like? Even some of the schools, sometimes I don't know if they, because I have the relationship, so they're like, yeah, come in and do the class. And then when we come, they're like, wow, this is really nice. This is really a great idea what you're doing. How many professional barber or beauty tours are you going to see powered by Habibe sunglasses? Whoa, this is different, but this is good. This is new. This is different. Everybody's opening their doors for us. Do not get me wrong. We have not gotten one no on this tour. Thank God. I mean, not one no. So, everybody is giving us the chance, and we're producing results. Great for brands that are getting brand awareness. Great for students. Like, look, I'm going to be transparent. At the end of the day, there's a side of this tour that is about increasing revenue and making sales, but we're bringing great deals and great products for the students, and we're just as happy with them if they took the time to be part of the class as we are if they did or didn't buy something. You know what I mean? We're really there for the students. I'm in town. I'm doing trade exhibition anyways. And it's just a great way to connect with this next generation who don't know the greatness of shows yet. Don't know that you can go to a show and see these new products, get in front of these brands. If you want to compete. Some schools we go to and we ask who in here has ever been to a barber or beauty trade show. Less than 2% raises their hand.
I think a lot of them. That's a topic that I want to touch on some point on a podcast, do a panel and talk about it. Because there's just a lot of kids that don't believe in it, right? But it's because of what I think the shows are projecting. Like a lot of them are saying, oh, you go to the shows and it's all just about haircuts that you're not gonna do in a shop. Like it's okay. It's all right. We're making something out of something that wasn't there before.
Yeah, and I'm seeing dramatic change in that now, Nino. There's a lot of platform education going on now that is something you'll do every day. Yes. You're right. There is still some very tedious, long time, amazing work that's being done. But even those educators will tell you now that, look, I do this and I get these great dollars for it, but this takes all day.
Mm-hmm.
That has changed. There's a lot of everyday now, like, hey, this is how you can better your fade, or this is how you could better a crop top. This is how you could better a beard service. This is how you can do technique to do things in more time to get more clients. I think there's a lot more realistic education going on over the last now 18 months, where I think companies are starting to realize that's what we need to tap into. We don't need all the flash. We need good, solid education by people who can convey it in an understandable way. And I feel that's what I'm seeing.
That's so dope. And like I said, a little, you see a lot more going to all these shows. I know you pay attention to all of this, and you see the changes and where the industry is going. So that's pretty dope that you get to see all that too. Other like I said, you're not a barber, but you get to see everything that's happening.
Everything. I've got a lot of education. I've sat in a lot of classes, Nino. I've taken the time to learn. Even if I didn't learn and go home and use the technique, I've learned a lot of things in business, in life, in hard work. I've learned a lot from barbering and beauty professionals, guys like Ivan Zoo and guys like Danny, Success Addict, guys like Chico Boom, Jay Majors. The list just goes on and on and on, right? That people who, barbering is their background and where they started, but it doesn't just stop there. Like for me, glasses is where it started. Now I'm moving into education and working with clipper brands and working with wet lines and working with premium razor blades. It doesn't have to, I'm just learning, Nino. I'm just getting comfortable in having a revenue stream in more than one way. I'm just learning to tell myself that's okay. And there was that fear in me. I'm going to share something with you I don't share in a microphone. There was that fear. Well, if I run this tour are people going to just whisper, oh, his brand isn't working?
Mm.
Oh, Habibi's not working now. I have those kinds of fears. But at the end of the day, like, isn't that now what so many people promote, that, look, you should try to have more than one revenue stream?
Mm.
I've never been anti multi streams, but I've always looked at it like, well, eyewear is $1 billion industry. I need to be in those millions before I even consider trying anything else. But it happened naturally.
Mm-hmm.
The tour worked out great. The wet line really, really wanted me. That Urban Edge really wanted me. He sees something in me I may not even have saw. And the offer he accepted, I couldn't refuse.
Mm.
And now I love it. What I'm
You're
doing.
creating.
Not even just from a financial aspect, from the aspect of seeing the kids come after the class and tell us thank you for coming, or seeing them after the class go to the educator and go to Fernando and ask them other questions and look up to him for advices. These things, like we were talking about, now make you really tapped into the industry, not just a guy who's not a barber who's trying to, move through the industry and whatever, collect money or just take a piece of the pie. I feel like now I'm contributing to the industry. Sure, I'm not the educator, but I'm doing the business part. I'm organizing it. I'm tapping into students, telling them about the importance of selling product, being present, and giving the advice I can give on the importance of product. Because I personally feel that there's a lack of professional barbers selling product, and they're leaving a lot of money on the table. That selling product could really increase their revenues hundreds to thousands of dollars a week based on your ability to
sell.
To sell. Yeah.
And that's the thing, that it's not only, like we've always talked about, barbering. It's not only about cutting hair. There's more than just cutting hair. For those, they don't think that you don't have a value to teach. I wouldn't think like that. I would say, you at least, they got to learn about marketing. They got to learn about photos. They got to learn about style and how to create a brand, how to be able to take a brand to a whole nother level, and you have that background. I think you've been proven long enough for people to understand that you have something stable. You have something that you live off of, based off of what you're doing. So,
I agree.
I don't think they should be seeing it to where you don't have nothing to offer to the industry. I think it's the opposite. It's a value. You have more value than just cutting hair.
And I was surprised at that, because you know what? I'm getting some of that feedback, because I'm coming in really tiptoeing. I'm not coming in trying to really overextend myself, because I want to make sure that, number one, the student leaves with something they can do that's going to better them behind the chair. However, the result that I'm getting is that they were really happy to hear, wow, I guess I didn't really lock in that much on 15 beard oils in a week and give me an extra $250 profit. So they're really locking into that. I'm not used to like having a student come to me like, oh, do you mentor people? I'm not used to being asked that, because I don't talk much. That's new for me. There's so much going on. Like, I'm a sea full of ideas, and now companies are seeing that, and that's why they're asking me now for and taking these ideas. Thank God that now is coming to life. It's very hard to get someone to write you a check for consulting. Now I'm getting multiple of those checks. Very hard. Things like consulting, photography, art, social media, content. These are music. Things like this are hard industries a lot of people want to be in, but hard to make money in. Thank God I'm starting to see a few dollars in that. So I have to now make sure that I tell myself, because what you tell yourself is important. Like, look, now you have to own that confidence. Like you know me. I will sell you a pair of glasses with confidence. I'll know what these glasses are made of. I will know every raw material, everything about them. If there's ever an issue, God forbid, I can operate on them. You know,
And
um,
genuine too. Genuine too. Is that you're not pushy. You just put them on here. Here's this. Here's the mirror.
but now that comes with ideas,
Yeah.
and you have to know you have to know the right and humble way to let somebody know now, like, look, this is now a service. I can help you in this, but I have to be compensated.
Yes.
That's a new arena for me. I think I'm navigating it well. However, this is the time of your life now. You have to make sure that you don't let ego get involved. I gotta be treating the person who buy that pair of frames the same as the retailer who wants 500 pairs. They both deserve A1 customer service. You can't now. You got to make sure you don't overvalue or undervalue yourself. It's a new arena for me, Nino. It's new for me, and it takes a lot of mental energy.
And it's scary
A lot of
because
mental energy.
you don't know if you're being used, if it's, and in many cases there's anything can happen.
I more worry about that I'll underdeliver.
Yeah.
So whenever I contract with somebody now and what I offer, I don't settle for less. I'm all about keeping a company in the green. I hear too many companies tell me, "Oh, we come to these shows or we do this and we lose money and we know we'll lose money." I don't process that. I process anything you do with me, you're going to be in the green, God willing. If you're in the red, we probably have to part ways. I don't want to make money if you don't. I don't get a thrill off making the money. I started before Habibe and all that. I was in wholesale. I've always been the person. I'm used to I make it and you make it. That's already instilled in me. So I don't look at it like, oh, they got a huge budget. Let me get my share, and whether it works or don't. No, I don't sleep at night if you tell me you're in the red, anything we're
that
doing.
integrity with yourself to where you're like, it has to be right for you.
And that's something that I don't want to lose, like, like I've seen the higher we go, we all change. I don't care what anybody says. The higher you go, the more you change. Now the question is, do you change for the better or do you change for the worse? And God willing, I want to change for the better. I don't want to be in the same house 5 years from now. I don't want to be in the same car a year from now, right? I'm gonna be honest with you.
Especially now with the miles that you ride, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I want to have the same integrity. I want to have the same loyalty, but no, I don't want to be the same person or in the same place. And anybody who tells me that, I have to really question their motive or intention, because wouldn't you want to change for the better? Wouldn't you want to be able to help yourself more, help others more, help your family more? So my thing right now is just making sure, as I'm trying to get into this new arena, I keep myself in check and never stop learning, and never not work with people who I know can be good for me to work with, and never think I have all the answers. That's for sure. That's who I don't want to be, that guy. I think I know it all.
That's so awesome. So we'll be wrapping it up because we're like, it's a great conversation.
Yeah, we've gone deep. We've gone deep here.
It's locked in, right?
My longest interview ever.
Yeah. I hope all the viewers have gotten some good knowledge and some good information out of this. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to repeat this one again. Have to do another one. There's so much information, so many questions that have to be answered. I'm pretty sure so many people that have questions themselves that one day we'll be able to answer them all. Hopefully, right? Because I know that from here on, we'll probably be doing some stuff together and stuff like that. Hopefully,
yeah, this
right?
is great what you're doing. I love what you're doing here. The podcast is amazing. I've seen some other episodes. The content is great, and the quality is great. That's another important thing. It's easy to watch it when it's so clear and good. And I'd love to see you out here. Maybe getting this on the road a little bit. I think the industry needs this from a guy like you. I've known you for some years, and you're They're very genuine, and for me, I think you said and asked all the right questions. It was comfortable for me. I don't do this much.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. And that's the key, man. To have my people always feel comfortable and feel like it's genuine, like a very good conversation and stuff like that. Like I said, is there anything that you have to tell the audience that are watching for the new generation? There's something else that we were talking about that we didn't get to touch bases on this, on how this generation is shifting over to where the older generation was a little tougher, and the new generation is a little not too as tough as the ones before. We ran out a little bit of time, but I'm pretty sure we can talk about that if you want to touch a little bit about that and give an advice to a younger crowd that are watching.
Yeah, I would tell the next generation that it's still the golden age for barbering and beauty professionals. It's just right now it's time more to be in real life. Social media is still very relevant, but the saturation of it now, it's time to get the head out of the phone. It's time to be in real life. It's time to get out there, approach real people, bring in real clients, learn to do phone calls, learn to do talk face to face. It can't all be texting. It can't all be likes. It can't all be shares. That is not working anymore. And if you're watching this now and laughing now, you will tell me later you told me so. Moving forward, it is not going to be about social media. It is back to lacing up your boots and getting in the trenches if you want to be a winner. And that's the way you have to move going forward. You have to get out here and you have to get in front of people who can be your clients, companies who can sign you if you want to be more than just work behind the chair. And for the entrepreneurs who are going to start their own brands, start their own product lines, you need to get into these shows because I'm going to tell you right now, small and mid-sized companies are winning by default. Big companies do not want to participate as much in these exhibitions right now. And new companies are making big names for themselves right now. Make the investment. Get you to the event. Whatever you got to do. 5 extra cuts a week. Get to CT Barber Expo. Get to ABS Chicago. Get to IBS New York. Get to Cleveland Barber and Beauty Expo. Get to Jack's Elite Barber Expo. You got to get there and get your product out now because you can win by default. You can have your chance to shine. Big companies right now are really on a break, and this is the time to really shine. That's the best advice I can give, and I hope somebody will be able to take from that and
Use it for value.
Use it for value, and really, really grateful to have been here and had this time to talk with you and be on your show.
Awesome. All right, so 3 quick questions. Who's been the biggest influence for you in the industry?
In the barber in the barber and
In the industry,
barber and beauty industry. I would still have to still give that Papito blessed hands.
Awesome.
First one to really stamp me and really let the industry know, like, look, this is a legit brand.
Nobody take it personal. It's just something, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people looked out for you, but
that
it
was
was
a
just
hard
that
one to
person.
answer.
I know.
A long pause there, man. We could have done a whole podcast on that. So shout out to a lot of people. Y'all know who you are, but we could have done a whole podcast on that.
Number 2, if there was one person, one celebrity, one big person that you would love that would be able to wear your glasses, who would it be?
I mean, I got to stick with my man Trader Truth because we did a collaboration together, and he's the first one that really stamped me in that celebrity world. There's a lot of moving parts right now that you don't see yet, but that is another world Trader Truth is really helping me grow in. So I would still have to give it to him because he also truly believes in the brand.
And last but not least, what other industry or what other like big brand would you like to collaborate, either in the sports or anything else like that, anything just in general? One big name that you would say, man, I would like to do something with these people.
I really wanted to collaborate with Chevrolet. I really wanted to do an exclusive Stingray sunglass.
Woo! I
I've
wasn't
I've
expecting
really
that one.
I have some people I really on the inside trying to get to that, but it's very hard. But I have a vision for that at the current time. That was who I'd really love to collab. Like they have the Maybach sunglass, they have the Porsche. I'd really love to do the official Corvette Stingray sunglass.
That is so awesome. You guys heard it here on This Is Nino TV for the first time. Habibe sunglasses. We hope that something comes out of this and that all his dreams come true. You guys heard it here. Until next time.
Thanks for listening.